Hello everyone, my name is Brenton from It's a Hockey Night, and this is a quick little breakdown, quick chat of NHL news that has just come out of Botterill being fired. Obviously, time of this video, it's oldish news, but I figured I'd do a bit of analysis on it and get a video out there for it. So this is that video. So I guess it's no real surprise. The only surprise about it being that the Bagulas did give Botterill that lovely vote of confidence, which seems to be a death sentence, especially in Buffalo, about 3 weeks ago, and since then he's been let go. He had a storied time at the Pittsburgh Penguins before taking the job as a full-time GM instead of being an assistant GM, where he was a bit sorted after. Like there was a lot of hubbub in the back end that he would eventually come up and be a very good general manager. And then you look at his time as Buffalo, and you wonder what could have been. I feel like there's some opportunities that went missing, and it's just not a great 3 years. So he joined Buffalo in the 2017-18 season, and really from there, they never looked like they were going to make the playoffs at any point in time. I think they went on a good winning streak last season, so there was that, but that's pretty much the only upside in just a real low of a season. Going into this season, everyone was talking about how Ralph Kruger had everyone really amped up and everyone was excited to go back to work and all the players were happy to play, but again, they couldn't get over 500 even in points percentage. So, and that's the common thread of this team. They've just never really been able to be consistently above 500, even if you go down 10 game stretches and things like that. A lot of the time they can't do that. In Botterill's tenure, there were 88 wins, 115 losses, 30 overtime losses, so well below 500 there. And I think the biggest problem was goaltending. They just never had a goalie that was ever over 9-10 save percentage. I mean, obviously, like your cast in front sort of has some sort of say in that in stopping goals, but they never really had that goaltender. They had Lehner when it looked like it was all said and done for him. Olmark never really got there. Hutton, they took a risk with to make a full-time starter goalie, and there still might be something there, but he couldn't really get it together. And some of the trades that he made, getting Ryan O'Reilly was quite vocal that he wanted to go, but what they got back for him was like Backlund, the first round pick that they ended up turning into Montator, so that was something. Or maybe it was the second round pick. I could be wrong on that one. Backlund, Sabodka, who was aging out. Backlund, who I think he played like 21 games and then left. Thompson, he might end up being something. But yeah, like it just... I don't know if it was ownership not letting him do his job properly and that he was hamstrung, or if it was the fact that like he just couldn't fix this team, because goaltending was the obvious woe, and it's been a woe for this franchise for such a long time. They just can never buy a save, and that's been their biggest problem for the last 9 years of not making the playoffs, is they just cannot get a save. In the big games that matter, down the 40 game mark, it's handy when you get that one save and you win that game 3-2 when you probably shouldn't have deserved it. Those 2 points that come here and there bleed into other games where you get 2 points, and that really can be the difference between being at least a 500 team and not being a 500 team, let alone making playoffs. But yeah, in recent times, probably the main chatter of the decision was a few things. One, apparently he wasn't very good with communication to the Bagulas, and two, Bagulas wanted to save on spending. I think the biggest tell with that is that the new GMs come in and fired, I think it was like 21 staff, most of them from the AHL level, Rochester. So there was obviously some sort of sweeping change that was coming from this. It's not just we're not happy with Botterill and we need to move on. It's that they weren't happy with a lot that was going on in this system, and some of this could be financially backed. It could be that they weren't happy for various reasons, but they definitely have gone in with a clear goal of what to do. And Kevin Adams takes over and obviously makes all these changes, but I mean they're clearly heavily influenced by the Gulas. You don't sort of come in day one, not really assess things and fire 20, 21 or 23 people or whatever the number was, without kind of being told that that's what's going to happen. So it seems like this conversation of what to do today has been happening for the last few days, because again, you can't really just get the job and make these decisions. These decisions have been made before time, and so a fair few people have been let go. Kruger is now the coach still, and usually that's the first thing that everyone starts to look at is the coach on the hot seat. Usually the GM likes to bring in his own coach, so it'll be interesting to see how long that lasts for and if he does want to stay. But yeah, it looks like right now, obviously, everyone can kind of hit pause on what's happened with the whole COVID thing, and we're starting to, rightly or wrongly in some countries, starting to reopen things. So I think, yeah, the Sabres were now starting to get serious about what was coming up with the draft and all of those sort of things, and wanted to go in a different direction. I think there's a few reasons for it. Performance is one. I think communication's another, and I think financial. It's a financial decision too. But yeah, like clearly they want this team to be going somewhere, but yeah, they haven't made the playoffs in so long, or really done anything impactful in the league in so long, that I think if you don't make the playoffs for 6 years, it'll take a GM more than 3 to get things on track. But I mean, he didn't really do anything that raised the eyebrows. It was just kind of, he just treaded along and kept the season going. But amassed draft picks and did well in the draft, but outside of that, there wasn't any risky moves, even just something that you'd raise your eyebrow with, like what's he doing there, or anything that's thinking outside the box. I can't remember anything that Botterill really did. So I don't know if he was hamstrung in that sense, but yeah. But yeah, that's the instant analysis sort of thing on Botterill being let go by the Sabres. I don't think it's a poor move on their part, but at the same time, I don't think it was a good move. It's a bit hard to tell with these things because you never know just how in depth the ownership was. A lot of people saying they were quite hands off, but I don't know. I just feel like Botterill maybe would have done something a little bit better if he didn't have to tick boxes through, or if maybe he had a 6-year plan and it was all signed off for the 6-year plan, and then they wanted to pivot that in year 2, and you don't really do that if you've got a good plan in place that looks like it's gonna work. But yeah, that's the whole video. What did you think of the Botterill firing? Where do you think the Sabres are going to go from here? I think that the biggest thing is to try to pick up a goalie. Like, honestly, like tomorrow, if it's not financial decisions that you need to make, and you are wanting to get back to the playoffs. I think that's the weird thing in this conversation, is that like half the people are saying like, oh yeah, it's because they haven't made playoffs in 9 years, but that's not really Botterill's fault. They didn't make it for 6. And there's the other half that they fired 23 staff. They furloughed, I think, about 100. I know a lot of NHL teams did this, but when the COVID thing was happening. So clearly there's a financial aspect of the way that they want to run this team as well. So I don't think it's purely performance-based. So, yeah. I'll be interested to see where Botterill ends up. But yeah, if you did like this video, hit the like button. Otherwise, hit subscribe. And yeah, thank you for watching. See you and bye.